So bear with me while I share my screen. Is about. So I'll briefly go through who I am and also what Kehillah Studios is about. So my name is Victoria Joel, and I'm a 3D animator and modeler based in England, United Kingdom. And I also have a bachelor's degree and master's degree in animation from two universities. And I'm also the founder of Kehillah Studios and Kehillah Academy, as you guys have already known. So I started this earlier this year, but I'll go into that later on after my introduction. So I've also made a couple of projects, both solo and collaborative projects, and also do YouTube videos from time to time. I also own a clothing line as well, where I produce t-shirt, customized t-shirts on demand. So I pretty much do a variety of stuff, and I'm also a COO of a startup company called Sleeker, which is a Nigerian-based creative startup who outsources like talent to global companies. And so we'll get into what Kehillah Studios is now. Uh, so Kehillah's Studios is dedicated to building a community of African or Black creatives who promote African storytelling through animation, film, art, and design. So it's pretty much a platform to establish. The purpose of this community is also to establish a growing community of African creators, both in the UK and also in African countries such as Nigeria. So that's pretty much the purpose of behind Kehillah Studios. And because it also came from desire to promote African storytelling and then kind of get African storytelling to a global stage. So this is pretty much from our vision, which is to empower African creatives who will bring African stories to a global stage through animation, film, and design, both home and abroad. So it's is to establish a growing creative community among Africans, especially because I'm also interested in African stories and it being told not just to African people, but also to Westerners as well, including myself. So, and it's important that we as Africans tell our stories from our own selves and hearing it from outsiders, being told by the outsiders than it coming from us ourselves. So it's the main purpose is to establish a growing community of African creatives, both home and abroad. And I started this community officially in March, where we have a growing community of African creators on WhatsApp. We're more than 300 members now and still hoping to grow. So we're coming up with different ways we can promote our stories and also producing films, animation films, films on African stories, African storytelling, African folklores, showcasing our cultures and traditions. Because as we all know, Africa has like different diverse cultures and traditions, and it's important that we also show that through animation, film, and design also showcase our creativity through those mediums. And our objectives is to partner with a couple of organizations who also help provide opportunities for networking, exhibiting, and training, because we plan to provide training as well through this platform, and the three main fields are animation, film, and design, while other areas are kind of like addition. So we hope to build like a strong network with African creatives, storytellers, animators, designers, and filmmakers who are knowledgeable in African storytelling, who will influence our films and training deliveries. So obviously networking and partnerships is a big thing for Kehillah Studios too. So it connects with experienced people who are in different fields that we specialize in to also influence our training programs like workshops and other training methods that we hope to bring along. So in every program we do, we hope to train up to 50 African creatives in each program. We just want to make the numbers specific as well and have like a good amount of people we hope to train for each program and develop their skills in animation, film, graphic design, sound design, and so on. And we plan to establish this from Manchester first and then extending it to an African country such as Nigeria. So today's agenda will be having like network lounges or breakout rooms. We should be around 30 minutes and then 1 hour for um short animation taster session and also sharing some films that have been shared with us for this program and also giving some closing remarks. So yes, that is the main agenda for today. And we hope we plan to make this program as engaging as possible and kind of get you guys involved in creating designs and also seeing what you guys come up with, the kind of stories you guys come up with, because the main factor for this sort of community is storytelling. And as we know, animation is like a main field for storytelling where people can tell their stories, where Africans can pass their stories across, pass a message across, show their culture to not just keep it among us Africans, but also share them with the world. So that is the main agenda for today. So we might go to the first task, but before that, does anyone have any questions for that before we move on? So our first activity for today is to go into networking lounge. Sorry, there's a chat. Okay, no, none so far. Okay, thank you for your message. If you guys do have any questions or any concerns along the way, or you can't hear me, you can message type that in the chat as well so I can be aware of them. So our first activity, like I said, is the networking lounges and breakout rooms, which is also get people like networking with themselves, that's to start off, and also getting to know people in different groups as well. So it's three groups are having today instead of the music hub. So the first hub we have, these are titled like village hubs. So the first hub is an animation hub, which involve animators, 3D artists, VFX artists, character designers, motion designers, etc. So if you fit among those, if you do any of those fields, you can go into that hub. Then we have filmmaking and photography, then art and design. If you fit into any of those groups, you can join them once I have made the groups accessible. And then I would also give you guys the tasks for each um group. So if you can if you want to take picture of this as well, that is fine. So you can remember the tasks you are given. I also share them again in each group. So we are going to allow people to join whatever group they want to based on what they do, and then in each group, every member will also share what their name, what they do, and share what African storytelling means to them. And it could be either in words, in video, or in artwork. And also each hub has a challenge a theme for each group that you guys will produce after your meet introductions as well to among yourself. And once you have done your activities, will come back again to the main room and then also give people a chance to share what they have learned about somebody else in the group and also shared whatever they came up with from the challenge they're given in each group. And then we'll have a break after that. So stop sharing my screen for now. Then I'll set up this breakout room. For people who are just joining, we're going to be having some breakout rooms for networking, and I'll still share our screen again to people to know what you guys are doing. Sorry, bear with me while I sort this out. So, I don't know if you're able to see it now. Please let me know if you have seen it. Okay. Thank you for letting me know. If you can join whatever group you want to join. I think room 3 is meant to be art and design. I don't know why it wasn't named that. But I just know that room 3 is art and design. For people who are just joining, we're going into breakout rooms depending on what skills you have or interest in. So we can do some networking activities for the next 30 minutes. So I'll give you guys a few seconds to get into the whatever group you want to join if you've not joined yet. Room 3, once again, is art and design group. Just so you know, the name didn't come up. For those of you who have multiple interests, just join whatever one you're more into. The group options are animation, filmmaking and design, and art and design, which is room three. I don't know why it was not named, which I named. So some people have not joined groups yet. Can you make a decision if you have multiple interests? Just choose one that you have more interest in, I would say. I don't know if you, for people who just joined, I don't know if their hub should just be shown on your screen. Or if you can't see the hubs, you can just tell me which group you want to be in and I can add you on there. If you can't see the options, please tell me which group you want to join and I'll add you. And Emmy is saying, okay, so let me get it straight. Once we join a hub, it's a specific task that I stated earlier that we work on until 1:30. This session is for 30 minutes, so we'll be till 1. I'll reshare the information. So we'll add people now. Please bear with me. So I'll join each group as well to kind of share the prompts as well, so you guys know what you're doing. And first of all, you make an introduction of yourself. Give like for 30 seconds, tell your group your name, your craft, and share what African storytelling means to you, either in words, video, or any form of artwork. For those who just joined, we're split into breakup rooms now. Animation, art and design, and film and photography, whichever one you are more into. Or kind of like giving introductions among ourselves, what our names, what we do, and also what African storytelling means to us, as well as activity you guys should be working on in each group. So if you can click the breakout room icon, you should be able to join whatever group you are more interested in. And room 3 is for art and design. And there's also an animation hub and also filmmaking and photography. And remember, when we come back into the main room, you have the option of sharing what you learned from somebody else and also share whatever designs you have made, which is an option. You don't have to do it, but it'll be great to see what people learned from somebody else and what they also created from the prompts. For those who just joined, can you include in the chat what fields you're interested in, whether it's animation, film, photography, or art and design, and I can join it on, including on the breakout room to be involved in the networking and also activity. I guess everyone should be coming back to the main room now. Okay, I think we have everybody back now. So we have like 7 minutes before we go for a quick break and then come back for the animation taster session. So anyone who would like to share something they learned about someone or share what they worked on in the group, maybe we'll get like 2 or 3 people who want to share. You can share on the group chat or you can turn on your mic to share what you have learned from somebody else in the whatever group you are in or what you worked on if you design something. Yes, we're at 30 minutes and you understand that 30 minutes was not um a lot of time because we have other activities scheduled for today. But like hopefully what it was like the main purpose was just to kind of network and see what you can come up with in a short amount of time. Even though you may not have designed something, but at least come up with something small within um 30 minutes. So we wouldn't have a whole lot of days. So someone said we decided on a name, but not the design. And which group were you coming from? I think that was Mars, or if that's how you pronounce your name. If you can share the name you came up with for whatever prompt you had, that would be great as well. But I hope you guys got to like know other people within the group. I should People should have got to know someone new in the group as well. Using a phone was a limitation for me. We couldn't do much. Yes, I that's understandable as well. Well, thank you for you guys participating to an extent. I also like to know if you anyone else met someone who would do something different completely to what you do in the group as well. As I believe not every I don't believe everyone in the animation group actually does animation, or if you do something else within the animation pipeline, like design of characters or rigging or modeling. Okay, the art and design. Okay, you came up with a name for a logo. If you can share the name you came up with as well. Vernix bottled water. That sounds quite creative. At least it was good you came up with a name and not necessarily a design. So at least you got something out of the activity, even though you may not have had time to design something, or just to kind of see what you can come up with within a short amount of time as well. So if anyone doesn't have anything to share as well, or if you didn't have time to design, come up with a design. That's fine. So we'll go on a quick break for about 30 minutes or so. Then we'll come back at like one half one for the next session, which should be for an hour, then come back again for round-up sessions. And I hope everyone sticks to the end as well because towards the end we have like a film to watch as well from someone who shared their films to also watch in their lunch day as well. So it's good to if everyone stays for that and see kind of like amazing animation produced by someone in the Kehillah Studio community as well. So if you all go on a break now, you can still stay on the program, but like obviously mute yourself, or you can go and come back, whichever way you want to do it. So we'll go on a quick break now and then see you all at 1:30. Thank you all for the participation as well. Appreciate your creativity. So see you in about 30 minutes. Um, Good day once again. Hope everyone's back online from the break. If you're back online, can you indicate by giving a thumbs up in the comments or through the emojis that you're back online? Okay, thank you very much, guys. So our next session will be kind of like an animation taster session, even though we're not going to really make an animation, but just to get some activities done around African storytelling, either individually or within a group. We'll be going over that for the next 1 hour as well. So I'm going to share my slides for that now. We'll get started as soon as possible, and as we get more people in as well, they should join us and also participate in the activities that we have for this session. So give me a moment and I will share my screen with you all. Okay, so Here's the animation test session, and the theme for this one is turning African folklore into animation. So yeah, like I said, and today we're going to focus on taking folklore into an animation, and we're going to reimagine it through animation storyboards and character designs. So there's many different stages in the animation pipeline. So the stage we're going to focus on is story produce working on developing story and also character design. That was you can go through the entire process of the animation pipeline within an hour. So we're going to be focusing on taking folklore and reimagining it in true storyboards and character designs. And we should have some group activities during the session as well, but you can either work on it in a group or individually. You don't have to work on it with somebody else. You can do it on your own as well. So there we go. So that's a brief introduction to what animation is. I assume some people here already know what animation is and they're already animated. So like they already know the process of animation and what animation actually is. But also to kind of like give a brief introduction to what it is and also the pipeline before we get into the activities of today. So as we all know, like animation is the art of creating an illusion of movement to display by displaying a sequence of images or frames. So it's kind of like bringing drawings or any still images to life, making the movements out of still images or frames. That's pretty much what animation is, bringing characters to life, bringing art, visuals to life, any idea that you have to life through movement and through the sequence of images and frames. And the importance of animation is also bring ideas and stories to life, make learning engaging, and is also a key tool for communication. So like animation it has an importance for every stage. Not it's not just about entertainment as well. Also making learning engaging and also bringing stories to life and also a way of communication to your audiences and also using various industries as well, not just the animation industry, but also industries like the medicine and other industries that use animation for their various purposes in order to engage with their audiences. And also, we may know this the different types of animations already. 2D animation, so that's Tom and Jerry, The Simpsons, and Mickey Mouse. And this type of animation is mostly used for educational cartoons, e-learning modules, advertisement, mobile games, and so on and so forth. We have 3D animation, such as Toy Story, Frozen, Shrek, and these type of animation is used for feature films, video games, medical visualization, architectural design, virtual reality, and so forth. And then we have stop motion, which is using like objects and puppets and then moving them frame by frame. And there are also different types of animation, which we don't have time to go into today. Today, we have different types of stop motion. And the examples of these are Wallace and Gromit, Coraline, other types of animation. And also these are used for children's films, advertisement, artistic short films, and so on and so forth. And then we have motion graphics, which are animated text, shapes, and graphics. And examples of these are logo animations, explainer videos, TV, channel intros, and so forth, so on and so forth. And then they're used for advertising, corporate presentation, news, graphics, social media content. So these type of animations are used for different types of things depending on what you want to the message you want to pass across and also your audience. So there's kind of these for different things as well. So that's just to have knowledge of these kind of animations, examples of them, and also what they can be used for. And you probably may have seen companies, different kind of companies use, especially motion graphics for their advertisement of their products or their goods to their audience, especially on TV. That's the most like popular one for advertisements, while other ones are kind of like for stories and for learning and other type of purposes as well. And then we have different stages of the animation production, which is similar to film as well. People who are into film may know this process as well, pre-production, production, and post-production, but obviously they vary because like obviously animation production is not completely the same as filmmaking. But we have pre-production, which is the planning stage where you come up with the story, the script, you do the storyboard, which outlines kind of the stories, the sequence of the story for each frame, the timing of the story, the music, and everything that will be used in this storyline, and you kind of like it visually shows the story, which helps the people who are working on production kind of like get the timings right and the sequence right as well. So and then we have also includes the character designs, environment design, so on and so forth. Then we have production, which is creating the assets and animation, which involves modeling of the character environments, pre-visualization as well, animation, visual effects, if any, lighting and rendering. And then the post-production is kind of putting everything together, polishing everything for the final product and including music as well. So that's pretty much the brief overview of the pipeline, the stages of animation, which is also used in the film production as well. So don't know why I'm going back and forwards. So yes, I believe most people here will obviously know this process, but also we can't really go into much detail into what these things are and what these some of these things mean because they only have 1 hour, and this is not kind of like a proper length workshop where we go in deeply into what things mean and how to go through each process and kind of like have deep meaning of what these individual stages are. But for today, like I said, we're going to focus on turning folklore into animation through storyboarding, and we're going to focus on storyboarding areas, producing a story and also character design. That's what we're going to focus on today. So in either a group or individually, depending on what you want to do, we're going to go work on this activity. We don't have to do like introductions again, which we already did in the start. But we just for this particular activity, we just want to guys to come up with or share a folklore, a proverb, a story you heard while growing up. I believe everyone has heard one story or the other while growing up. We've all heard from a story. It might be an African story per se, but like a personal story you grew up hearing or listening to, or you're being told. Then you choose whatever story you were told and decide to work on, and you created redesign a character from that story, giving it a different name, a different personality, and a different role from the original story it was told. And we'll be given like a couple of minutes for this session as well. Can you let me know in the chat as well if you want to work individually in a group so I can know so I can able to break people out into groups as well, or you decide to work individually. So we'll be given about 20 minutes for this because we're not actually designing the character. We're just giving the character a new name, age, personality, and role. So we're just giving 20 minutes for this because we're not actually drawing. I'm not expecting to draw a character, but let's give a character a different name, age, personality, and role after you have chosen a story that you want to come up with. So I'll divide you into groups again. The initial groups I put together in the first sessions before the break. I don't know if you could still access that if you click like breakout rooms. Tell me if you can still access us in the group chat as well. So there's one breakout room for animation, one breakout room for filmmaking, and then there's one breakout room called room 3, which is for art and design for people who are just joining and it wasn't part of us in the first session. Room 3 is the art and design group in the breakout rooms. Please tell me if you can still see that. You should be able to see the icons below, and then one of the icons called breakout rooms. If you can click that and check whether you can see each group. Can you all see that, please? If someone can mention the chat if they can see it, or give a thumbs up. Okay, so okay, I'll just open the groups now. If you can let me know if you have can see that now. Yeah, I've just made the breakout rooms open again. The ones that were assigned they're made in the morning, this earlier afternoon. If you can see that, I just opened it now. If you can see that, please let me know and also start joining whatever group that you feel like joining, depending on what field you do. And if you do multiple things apart from animation, but like for example, you can also join whichever group you like have more interest in or you focus on more, whether it's animation, filmmaking, or photography, or art and design, which is room 3. And then the activity once again is sharing one folklore proverb or story you grew up hearing with. Pick one story among the ones you have shared in the group, then redesign the character from that story, giving the character a new name, age, personality, and role. I will share that again in the group chat so you guys remember what you are supposed to do. This morning, this early afternoon, we already had like introductions of what people give their names and creative roles. So I want to make you guys do that again for this. And once again, you guys have 20 minutes to also come up with a name for us from a story you already heard. A different name, personality, and age from a story you already heard before, thus giving it a new personality and kind of like redesigning it. So you won't have to come up with a story entirely new for this session. For people who have not joined or who have rejoined, we're in breakout rooms now at the moment doing an activity where people are going to groups to share a folklore, a story they heard while growing up, and then giving their character from the story a different name, age, personality, and so forth. So if you have not joined a group, you can press where icon that says breakout rooms at the bottom and choose which group you want to go into, either animation, filmmaking, or art and design. If you're having issues with joining any of those groups, you can let me know which group you want to join, and I can assign you to that particular group so you can join the rest of the team or the group to also do activity. And also, if you want to do this individually, please mention in the comments so I wouldn't have to add you to any group. I'll be waiting for the rest to join back. Okay. So I was kind of like hearing good conversations in different groups, which is why I didn't want to interrupt early and give you like guys more extra time to kind of finalize the redesigns of the characters from stories that you have heard. So in like 5 minutes, can spare if anyone from any group wants to share what they have been discussing or the redesign of the characters or from the stories they have heard while growing up. You could turn on your mic or type, but it would be best if it's spoken. Anyone want to volunteer to share their redesigns? First of all, tell us about your character that you redesigned, age or personality you gave to this character. But first of all, sharing the original story that you guys um finalized or came up with or heard before.
Hi,
Hello. Who's
yeah, my name is Olakunle Sajo.
okay, hello.
Yeah, from Animation Hub.
Okay,
Yeah, so we came up with a name for our character, Blackfish,
okay,
and he's a youth. We couldn't decide the age. Actually, we were like thinking, oh, we can redefine age as long as youth. So we don't have issue with that. We can do that. At least we cap the age to be a youth, and he's a boy.
okay.
And we see that he's an introvert and
Mm-hmm.
he's a guy trying to find himself. Though another suggestion came like having a tuna, like he's acting like a tuna fish, and like when a tuna fish walking in school and there's a
Mm-hmm.
tornado, and you know the some of the fishes will be lost to the tornado, uh, and
Okay.
uh, and they still walk no matter what, they still move on with their lives, even though they couldn't find some of their friends again, but life still goes on. But to me,
Mm-hmm.
we have a different perspective. We
Yeah.
have different perspectives to the character. So me, I am seeing him as someone that is trying to find himself, and just like fishes, they are very comfortable in water, and when they leave
Mm-hmm.
water, they will be choking, like they won't be able to live well. So
Mm-hmm.
I see the like he being an introverted person want to try to blend to the society and be an extrovert, but he would discover. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Oh, my network.
I can hear you properly. I don't know about anyone else.
Sorry, my network decided to act.
No
Can
worries.
you
I, wa-
hear
I
me?
was I was hearing you anyway.
Okay, where did I start?
Yeah, I heard everything you said.
Okay, are you sure?
Yeah.
'Cause I've said some things that I feel I want to know
You,
where I stopped so that I
yeah,
will
you
continue from.
can continue because we heard everything you said.
Okay, okay. Like I said, being an introverted person, he wants to try to blend to the other world where he doesn't belong, just like a fish. And he was choking, he couldn't, he would be drained, and he has to go back to the water to recharge and come out from his shell again, then to blend into the world. So that's where we still stopped. But you know, oxygen, oxygen alone is not good for him. He needs that oxygen and the water. So that was where we
Mm.
stopped in our own character. We still can define it later and fine
Mm.
tune. Anyways,
That's actually very creative as well. I don't know if that was a story from that you heard before. This is a story that you created yourselves.
I didn't get you.
And was this a story that you heard before? Is a story that you created yourselves?
No, 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 I've not heard any story about that. We just came up with something like that.
Okay,
Yeah.
that should be that's actually very creative as well, and pretty nice idea to the storyline as well, and giving like a fish a personality, which is not really um realistic in real life, but like giving a character a fish a personality such as that makes a lot of sense and also very creative as well. Because of time, we may not take other ideas from the other team. I think only people only joined the animation hub and the arts and design hub. So that we don't run out of time, we'll go to the next activity. But with all the ideas you guys came up with, you also can redefine it later on as well. Like your ideas don't just end here, they can continue on after this. But this is just to get people to think of creative stories. And because pretty much that's pretty much the focus of this launch day as well, and also the focus of this entire the organization of Kehillah Studios, pointers of redefining stories, promoting stories. The focus is mainly storytelling. So getting people to be creative and come up with them stories and also character designs is also the pretty much a focus of animation as well as a whole. Animation also involves a lot of storytelling and people coming up with different things, characters, giving characters personality, giving characters, you know kind of like redefining a character, and giving it a meaning. So the audiences can also relate to that character. And even though like in real life, something things may not be realistic, but like obviously for what the kind of thing like animation is, obviously we kind of make unrealistic stuff sometimes in the industry. So it's actually really creative with the story you came up with. So for the next activity, which should be a quick one. Um, Let me share my screen again. So I think we'll just do this individually instead of going to groups again, so it can be quite quicker. So this activity is called Pass the Story. So each of you can choose whatever option that is there. We'll have five options. So and this is a story. Each of these are story starters. So each of you can choose a story from whatever option you want, and also add a little extra line to each story, to kind of like continuing that prompt. So if you choose like the first option, kind of add another line to it, kind of like make it a complete story or sentence. Just add like one or two sentences to that and see what you guys come up with to continue that story. And then at the end, you guys can type in the chat what you came up with, the continuation of whatever um story starter you have chosen. You don't have to share it as well. You can choose to share it, but it'd be great if you guys shared what the continuation you came up with. So you guys have the option. The floor is open to you guys to choose whatever option is there. I'll give you like guys like 10 minutes or even less. See how quick you can come up with something in a few minutes that you are given. So you just add one line or two to the whatever sentence that you have chosen, whatever story starter that you want to go ahead with. Add one or two lines to it. Then at the end of 10 minutes, we share what people have come up with. So let's get cracking. And this should be the last proper task as well before we have a quick break and also come back and watch some film presentations before we end it for the day. So we choose whatever option, whether it's option one, option two, option three, option four, option five. Add one or two sentences to the story to make it a complete story or paragraph. It's pretty much like a log line of a story. Someone has their hand raised up as well. Do you want
Yeah,
to say something?
yeah, I wanted to bring up the pool again so we can choose our options.
Which poll?
I think you said we should choose an option that
Yeah,
time.
the options on the screen here.
Okay.
You just choose which sentence story starter you want to go with, whether it's option one, between option one to option five.
Okay.
Then continue the story by adding just one line or two to the story that you choose from these options shown on the screen.
All right. All right.
once you guys have come out with your stories, then share them in the chat. But if we're not finished, I'll give you guys 1 minute. But you guys, well, once you have done and come up with the complete story, you can also mention the option you went for, and also type in the chat the complete story that you came up with. Starting with obviously the starting of the story, then the continuation that you came up with. Put the full sentences in the chat, but first of all, mention the option that you chose. Okay, for those who are still yet to finish, like I'll advise you to wrap up now and share whatever you have in the comments in the chat. Okay, after sharing your option, also share the obviously what you came up with. Just your full sentence in the chat as well, so we can all see your creativity. So Josephine went with option two, which was Buddha was born on the night the moon danced with the ocean waves. The earth stood still. Nature marveled. Nice one. Does anyone want to share what their first sentence as well? Okay, that'll be it for that session then. Thank you all for sharing your work and ideas as well. And it's great to see how people could come up with something in a few minutes, even though the time was given wasn't much, but it's great to see that people could come up with something in a short amount of time. As sometimes we may not have the luxury of time to come up with things, so it's great to see something come up like real quick as well. So great ideas, great stories. Nice to see how creative everyone is. Also have another submission here from Upon 3. For generations, his people has been in the shadow of the mountain. Buddha is born to move the mountain. Another nice one there. So, if no other submissions, then we will proceed to wrap up this session before we go for like a quick 15 minutes break and then come back. So just to wrap up and mention some next steps. Some of you may have already know about these softwares, but in case no one is aware of some of them. So for obviously for animation, we have both paid free softwares. Obviously, Adobe is one of the most used softwares as well for animation as well, one a paid one. Also, Toon Boom Harmony for 2D animation. Um, Adobe Maya for 3D animation. Also, Cinema 4D as well. And we also have free softwares like Blender for also 3D stuff. Pencil 2D, Synfig Studio, and OpenTunes. Those are softwares available for you for that. And illustration, we also have Adobe Illustrator, which some of you may know already, CorelDRAW, Clip Studio Paint, Procreate, and also have free ones there available for you. Also, film and video editing. We have Adobe Premiere Pro for paid, Final Cut Pro, DaVinci Resolve Studio, and so on and so forth, and also free ones. But obviously, some of these have free versions and also paid versions. So those are some softwares they consider, especially the free ones, if we can afford the paid ones, obviously. There's some free ones available for people who want to get into animation illustration or film editing and so on and so forth. So um go to the next slide. And these are also some paid and free ones for graphic design, photography, and also sound design. So there's no really anything stopping people from getting into the creative industry to produce work and create designs and push animation, African storytelling out, and also create like African artwork and explore your creativity. So there are free ones available for people to get and also produce work depending on what area you specialize in. And also you can get paid ones as well. If you can get paid ones, which are kind of like much better than obviously the free ones. So further next steps about Kehillah Academy as well. We have workshops, animation workshop and filmmaking workshop coming up in early November. It is a paid workshop, but also free for students and also free for anyone who's part of the our Kehillah community on WhatsApp as well. So we will make the workshop free for anyone who's part of us and anyone who's a student, but obviously paid for if you're not in the above options. So that's the kind of like the next steps. One of the next steps about Kehillah Studios. We will share further next steps about what we will continue to do in Kehillah Studios and in Kehillah Academy in future months and years, which I'll share at the end of this entire event before I send people off and round up the event. So yes, as a closing charge, I'll say this that the world has told our stories for us too long. What story will you animate next from your culture? And if you're not animated, like what story would you design or film? So yes, that for this particular session. So I'll let you guys off for 15 minutes break. You can stay here as well for that 15 minutes. Then we'll come back after 15 minutes and then watch some films from a particular person and to share their film with us. So also share at this event. So I'll dismiss you guys and see you guys in 15 minutes. Hello once again, everyone. Hope you're back from that break. If you're still here, please can you give a thumbs up? So we're about to begin our the final segment of the event for today. Please, if you're still around, can you give a thumbs up so I can know who's still here or who came back from the break? Okay, so for the last part of this session, we're going to have a look at some presidential films that I would like us to share within the next 10 minutes or so. And you guys can also drop in the comments what you think of the films you just saw. Give me a moment to share my screen. Okay, so we have a film from someone called David, who's a uh 3D animator as well, and who's going to be one of our speakers for one of the sessions during the festival. But before we play his, let's just share like a Stember show reel from our creatives in our community on WhatsApp as well, because every month we kind of like post some prompts and themes that people can work on depending on what fields are in, whether they are 3D animators, 3D artists, graphic designers, visual artists, illustrators. So whatever field they're in, they also have like a theme for each field to work on. So at the end of, and at the end of every month, like people submit whatever work they want to be shared on our social media platforms. So it was shared like earlier this week, and I'd like to also share them here before we go into the film from our artist David. So that is compilation of some, or the sound was not, I don't know if anyone hears else didn't hear the sound. Can you let me know who else didn't hear the sound? And it was music playing over it anyway, so it's not like there was actually like voiceover or something like that in there. And it's but for this one, well, for the next one, it does have some narrative to it. So if you didn't hear the first one, can you let me know, please? So I'll know whether it's from me or from somewhere else. Okay, I'll share the next one. And if you don't hear it, please mention in the comment section as well. Can you guys hear that so far?
Long before I was born, there once was a very beautiful city.
Before we continue with it, please let me know if you hear that.
Long before I was born, there once was a very beautiful city named Nubi. This city thrived in all splendor and unity under the rule of the respectable good king Ami. For many years, Mubi was at peace, but tragedy struck when the king's elder brother, the son of the rich Nansa, against his brother, killed him, murdered the protectors of the city, and declared himself king of Mubi. I grew up under the protection and guidance of my grandmother, knowing.
Sorry, guys, I think my screen froze.
Long before I was born, there once was a very beautiful city named Mubi. This city thrived in all splendor and unity under the rule of the respectable good king Ami. For many years, Mubi was at peace, but tragedy struck when the king's elder brother, the help of the rich Nansa, against his brother, killed him, murdered the protectors of the city, and declared himself king of Mubi. I grew up under the protection and guidance of my grandmother. Knowing I possessed special ability, I became a threat to the king's reign. Someday I will bring the evil king to justice and liberate my people with the ability of Enoch. My name is Inali, Nali, Nali, Nali.
Oh, that's that. I was also sent some background story for that as well. Just to give a background story of what we just watched from animated David called Inali. I don't know how he pronounces that, but the long line is Inali follows the courageous journey of a 15-year-old girl who rises up against a tyrannical ruler, King Ape, to liberate the land of Mobi from darkness and injustice. And the synopsis is Inali is a story that revolves around a 15-year-old girl, 15-year-old heroine named Nalegwu, who takes up the responsibility of fighting the injustice inflicted on the people of Mobi by the wicked king of Ape. Ape is a dictator, a ruthless and heartless murderer whose source of power is the den of Odubu, which is darkness. Ape forcefully became king, ruled the land of Mobi to ruins, and killed a lot of people, especially those who opposed him. Amongst them are his own brother, Ame, his family, and the parents of Inali. Inali grew up not knowing she possessed the powers and abilities of Ina until she met Aleku, the spirit monkey who guided her path to discovery. The story of Nali is a perfect reference to our lovely African moms, sisters, and wives in regards to resilience, discipline, strength, and the ability to being a hero in every situation. That's the background story for that. So how did you guys find that as well? That should become a source of inspiration to people as well, and also getting our stories across. And this is what I also advocating for storytelling from African stories being told on a global stage, exploring African creativity from Africans themselves. So for the last 5 minutes, I'll just give like a closing remark to end the session. Sorry. Sorry, guys. I just want to share my screen once more. Okay, so to give some closing remarks and just to mention about the future of Kehillah Studios and Kehillah Academy. So I do appreciate everyone who first of all joined today and be part of our launch day and launching our first ever festival and first like proper event since we started in March earlier this year. So and the aim with this Kehillah Studios and Academy is to um c- create organize events, workshops, seminars in order to promote African storytelling, in order to discuss the history of African stories and also discuss the future of African stories and how African stories can be told from Africans themselves and also reach a global stage and not just limiting our stories among our cultures and among our community. It's important to also reach the world with the stories that we have and also getting people, as much Africans, into the creative industry, especially from younger generations as well, targeting younger people, developing them in skills that they need in the creative industry, getting more African creatives, African people into the creative industry, so that stories can be preserved, so a story can be told, and also have original stories that people could learn from. So this is the first of many events that we'll do, the first festival. Hopefully, we plan to have yearly festivals as well as other events such as seminars and other training programs. And we have other sessions for this festival as well. The next one is the next session is building a sustainable career as a Black creative, which should take place on Monday, the 13th of October, and we have some remarkable speakers for that session. So I don't think it should be a session you should miss as well, and also a couple of more sessions after that. So there's like 5 sessions in total, which will run throughout the month during this festival. And as Black History Month, this is Black History Month in the UK as well, where we celebrate kind of like the work of Black people, Black artists. So obviously a lot of events around Black history and Black culture and events from Black people are running throughout the month as well, and not just this. So it's also a good time to also run this sort of event for Black creatives, Black African creatives around the world in Europe and also in Africa. So, and we'll also have two workshops in November, animation workshop and filmmaking workshop, like I mentioned earlier, and those are our very first workshops as well. So we plan to run a variety of events across the year. Hopefully from 2026, we have different kind of events running through the year that people could join, whether you're a member of the community or not. Try to make events as accessible as possible to African creatives, so we can have a rising number of African people in the creative sector, so we can have our um, stories reach a global stage, and so that we have negative narratives counteracted through the media and through the stories that we tell ourselves. So there's a future for African storytelling in the creative industry, but if we don't have the people to tell the stories, then our stories can't be told and cannot be reached the world. So it's important that we also have this community, that our stories can be shared and promoted as well. So that is pretty much the future of this as well. And hopefully from now on, we have more events available for African creators and make that accessible as possible, like I mentioned as well. So hopefully we all go forth and tell our African stories. Once again, thank you all for joining today. You all make these events possible as well, and it's for the good of all of African creators that we produce these kind of events, for us to network and also to come up with stories that make meaning to worlds. So thank you very much for joining. Hope to see you in further sessions of our festival. And hopefully you share as well with as many people you know, because it's important that we discuss the matters of Africa, discuss the histories of Africa, and how we can take our stories forward in the future. Thank you very much, and hope to see you next time. Bye for now.
Thank you very much.
No worries.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Um, have someone raise their hand there.
Please, I want to request if I can be added to the WhatsApp group.
Yeah, whoever wants to be added to WhatsApp community, does send an email after this. Email should have been sent, should be added to the flyers if you have received the flyers. But I can include it here. This is an email. Okay, that's our email there in the chat section. So if you want to be part of the community on WhatsApp, you can contact that email and you'll be sent the link to join.
All right, I'll do that right
Okay.
away. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. See you all next time.
Thank you. Thank you.